WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. It is a breezy little week around here to be talking about all sports that are not baseball as the Orioles entertain the Cleveland Indians here and try to figure out which direction their season is going. But the NHL draft is this week, as well as an expansion draft, one of the weirdest things in sports, and that'll be the Las Vegas franchise now, getting it going out there in the desert and the Mighty Knights. This guy writes for Vegas Insider.com, but he is on the NBA side of things as a longtime NBA columnist at CBS Sports, now with Vegas Insider and out on Twitter as well at Tony Mejia, NBA. That is spelled M-E-J-I-A. And we welcome him back onto the program on the eve of the draft, and certainly about to get into a very, very chunky, and I've called it a roller coaster ride of an offseason here for a lot of franchises. Tony, one thing we know, man, we watched the Warriors play last week, right? All of these teams are a long way away from being that good. And, I know in the NFL here this offseason, we're talking about who's going to catch the Patriots. I'm sure, from any other vernacular in any other sport. But catching the Warriors, this isn't about one or two moves or one or two draft picks or an offseason splash for most of these franchises. They're way, way behind right now.
They're behind, and I think next year and going forward, I think you'll be behind. But things broke really well for the Warriors this season. At one point, it didn't look like it with Kevin Durant's season in doubt there for like a 24, 48-hour period. But you see how things can go for them if they get every break and Draymond Green stays out of trouble and in the lineup, and they're able to bring Andre Iguodala, who has hamstring issues every season, along slowly to the point where he could be the dynamic factor against a Cleveland Cavaliers team, because he really is the reason why they've got two championships and have beaten LeBron twice. But yeah, certainly they're among the best teams of all time and will be the prohibitive favorite going forward.
Well, this is the real roller coaster ride. This whole off season of who can recruit their buddy. I've called it like a giant pickup game, right? It's literally guys lined up along the fence and LeBron playing the role of general manager and recruiter in saying, what good is the draft to the Cleveland Cavaliers this week, right? I mean, it really is about they've got 2, maybe 3 more years of some sort of a window here for LeBron to help them win. Maybe not even that long. But the off season really is about recruiting friends right now, right?
It's been that way, though. I mean, especially as far as LeBron James is concerned, it's been that way since he made the decision and went to Miami. And you've seen it with Mike Miller and Ray Allen. Miller, one of the reasons why his relationship with the Heat went south when he felt he gave up some money so his buddy could be there, and then they waived him at one point, and that really was the beginning of the end in South Florida. But again, the sentiment prevails that you always had these veterans, even in the situation with Boston, where P.J. Browns of the world would accept buyouts and then go chase a ring. Been that way, going to continue to be that way even more. And, what you referenced as far as superstars now being part of the equation, well, now we've got a rental situation potentially with a Paul George.
Well, the Durant to the Warriors thing, we all knew the impact of that last year. I do wonder what the Warriors would have looked like, whether they would have been a lot more earthly had Durant decided not to go there and went to Washington or went to New York or anywhere else. Boston, he could have gone a bunch of different places. He picked there and in the end, a happy ending. I mean, we're seeing more of that when the LeBron James is picked to go to Miami or Cleveland, or the Durant's picked to go and play with the best players in the world. I don't know what could happen this offseason that would upset the balance of this Warriors, a Cavaliers thing that's going on right now, that who's going to break into that party this time next year?
Yeah, in response to that, I don't think that there is a move. I mean, Boston is the big player right now because of their 53 wins and their top 3 pick, and the fact that they could potentially turn some of the pieces they've acquired into a star. So they would be the leading candidate to upset the balance. But other than that, I think we're going to run into Warriors and Cavs 4.
Tony Mejia covers all things NBA. He will be monitoring the draft this week, and even over the weekend, a week out on the draft, we've had a little kookiness over the weekend with dealings and comings and goings. And from an outside perspective of the inside of the NBA, very rarely do these drafts make or break franchises in the way that the NFL does, in the way that the baseball draft is forgotten by its own fan base. The NBA draft does get a lot of heat, but in the end, does it wind up helping the Heat or the Celtics or anybody else?
Well, this year is different. Aside from what we've been talking about, is there won't be an immediate impact as far as next year's postseason. But this is a top 3 draft. Ryan McDonough said this, the Suns GM who picks 4, that since he's been in the league, began in 2003 with the LeBron, Melo, Wade draft. This is top 2 draft since, so as far as talent and as far as depth. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams, Sacramento at 5, that they find a way to bumble the draft every season. Even they're going to get a really nice piece there, and on down the line through the top 9.
The ball thing creates its own little a ball of energy now, doesn't it?
It does, just because of the intrigue that the Lakers might pass, but I don't think they will. I mean, Chino Hill's native, everybody household name for the last year and a half, and the way that things have broken for he to be there at number 2, and at this point, LeVar speaks it into existence if he hears his name called at number 2, and then hopefully, even though we both know this isn't true, fades into the shadows and lets his kid's talent come to fruition. But he'll be a part of things, and I do think Lonzo will be the number 2 pick.
But that is something when you marry the entourage, right?
It is, but at the same time, I think you dance with the devil that you know, and they already know what they're getting there. I mean, yes, he's a loudmouth. Yes, he could potentially say something embarrassing, but you're getting a really wholesome kid that has tremendous court vision and realistically lives up to comparisons as a Jason Kidd clone.
He is Tony Mejia. He covers all things NBA, and we're monitoring the draft as well for Vegas Insider. What do you guys got going on at Vegas Insider this week? I know you're doing something around the draft, right?
Yeah, certainly. There's going to be draft props now, and Vegas. You can wager on all kinds of props, and it'll be the numbers will officially be released on Wednesday. But already we know about draft positions and the potential of Jason Tatum and De'Aaron Fox going 4-3-4. So the numbers there. Lauri Markkanen from Arizona in a 6.5-7 range. So which kind of universities, how many players they'll provide into that first round. So all kinds of numbers there. I'll have a mock draft and a big 3 preview this week.
Hey, man, always great to visit with you. We'll be watching the draft on Thursday, as well as getting ready for the weekend around here and the offseason, and we'll see what LeBron can come up with to compete with the Golden State Warriors as they had another hell of a parade last week out in the Bay Area. Tony Mejia, NBA is the way to follow Tony, as well as at VegasInsider.com. You can find me out in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.